All right, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire in all truth and in all sincerity. Shalom to the rest of the elect out there. All right, I titled this live, "The Wicked Watcheth, the Righteous Seeking to Slay Him, Hydra, and more prophecies in the news," because that's what this live is going to be about. You know, first off, the wicked watcheth, the righteous seeketh, slay him. I've had it's many cases of that. Like, yeah, these devils be watching. These devils be watching the men of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, best believe that. You know, bringing out info on these devils that is taking down their queendom. So, you know, they're gonna have us. They're gonna have us under a close watch. You know, and also because they're plotting to slay us. And Kala Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Bashim Kakadash was 144 when I seen it. When I said that. But which, you know, confirmation. But I saw 44 before this. Numbers that had to do with that. 144 or 44. But hold on. You know, there be reasons why, you know, weird shit be happening to us. Like, you don't get to show up. You don't get to show up like you get held up from showing up at a certain location and shit. There be reasons why, and and you know, even if it's like for camp or some shit like that, and sometimes, yeah, Satan be hindering too, but you also have the possibility that maybe that, you know, because a wicked be watching the righteous seeking the slay him, so you have the possibility that, you know, Esau was planning something and it was not a good time to be out there. And also the fact that brother's videos be getting taken off, like a brother's videos be getting taken down, like almost right away. Like the elder Ron Amath, his video got taken down almost as soon as he posted it. It was a video about, hold on, the video about the fuck. We're in the last phase of their plan. Watch Revelation 13 to 16 and 18, and auxiliary mode affiliates had it taken down on copyright grounds. And you had another incident where, like the one I mentioned last night with Rapal Araya, he posted his video. He posted a video, and it was going into scriptures. It was on this video, I think by end time teachers or something like that. I think that's what that dude's channel was called, but he was gonna go into scriptures on it. And yeah, I think it's called that, or end time prophecies or something like that. Something like that. I don't know exactly what the video was called, but it was blocked in all countries as soon as that brother posted it. So we know these devils be watching us. I mean, plotting. Let me get that scripture. Psalms. It's in Psalms, I believe. The wicked watcheth the righteous. The wicked watcheth the righteous. Psalms 37 and 32. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. There you go. Esau is always plotting. Verse 12 of that same chapter, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Like, I got this nigga. I got this nigga. I finally got him. But verse 13, Yahweh shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. And then I got another scripture. This chapter be going in. Verse 14, the wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Verse 15, their sword shall enter into their own hearts, and their bows shall be broken. Either their heart, like, or their mind, their own weapon that they use against us is gonna be used to fuck them up. That's the meaning of that. And then the wicked be plotting, man. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. Hey, verse 30, the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. Verse 31, the law of his power, Yahweh, in his heart, none of his steps shall slide. Yeah, and then goes on to say the wicked watches the righteous, plotting and shit, seeking to slay him. Verse 33, Yahweh will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged. Verse 34, wait on Yahweh and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land when the wicked are cut off. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. Khan, we're going to see the fall of these devils that are steady plotting on us. He that liveth to see the fall of his enemy, right? He that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. Ecclesiastes 25:7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. We're finna see both. Verse 35, calm, man. That like through Pac, aka Transbot, wearing the dress and shit. That demon said, he was on point with this one. Like that demon said, revenge is hey, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is the next sweetest thing to getting pussy. And hey, revenge is coming for all the shit that these devils have done and are plotting to do to our people. Verse 20, verse 35. I have seen the wicked in great power in spreading himself like a green bay tree. Verse 36. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. I saw him, but he could not be found. These devils trying to cut us off, because it's in the power of their hand. But really, it ain't in the power. It ain't given to them to cut us off. They think they have that power, though. He passed away, and lo, he was not. Yet I saw him, and he could not be found. Passing away like a vision in the night. You get the point. Verse 37, mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is perfect. Like we may be going through it right now, but the end of the upright man is perfect in peace. Peace, actually, for the end of that man is peace. Well, synonymous, man. Verse 38, but the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. Verse 39, but the salvation of the righteous is of Yahweh. He is their strength in the time of trouble. Verse 40, and Yahweh shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. Esau was not going to be allowed to carry out his enterprise, man, his plans. Esau was gonna get hindered. Plagues. We got some articles going to the lava of La Palmas. Volcano was seen by drone. It was popping off. All right. Hold up. All right. All right. This article right here. I'm gonna get into some prophecies. A deadly parasite that burrows through the feet, through bare feet, could be multiplying in this U.S. community. What researchers found in the Texas neighborhood was shocking. What's worse, the residents say, is that no one's helping. By Alistair G. in Rancho Vista, Texas. Sisters Monica and Veronica Reyes Ibarra in front of their home in the Rancho Vista community near San Marcos, Texas. Photograph. Okay. Photographed by the Guardian. Alright. We get into this article. When the letter arrived, as published like 5 a.m. I believe. Yeah. 4 a.m. if you if you're from Texas or in the Central Daylight, or in the Central Daylight time zone. All right, but let me continue. So it was published this morning. All right, let me get into it. When the letter arrived with the logo of another university in the corner, Veronica Reyes Ibarra expected good news. She called her boyfriend, her mom, and her sisters over. "Quote unquote, you guys, look what I got. I think it's a scholarship." But as she scanned the page, she suddenly wasn't sure she had the courage to read it out to them. "Quote unquote, using a research diagnostic blood test," the letter read, "we have determined that you may have been infected with the parasite." Quote unquote. The letter advised Reyes Ibarra to seek medical treatment. 15 other residents of the tiny Texas community where Reyes Ibarra lives received the same test results. After dozens gave blood and stool samples for an academic study, they ranged from a woman who is pregnant to a 2-year-old child. The intestinal parasite is known by its scientific name, strong strongyloids, pronounced strongyloides. It inhabits the guts of humans and other animals, and its larvae are excreted during defecation when you take a shit. If the larvae are able to contaminate soil, for instance, because of a sewage leak, they can survive for up to 3 weeks. An uncommon infection pathway, they can burrow through the skin of a person walking barefoot, entering the bloodstream, then the lungs, and ascend the windpipe, where they are coughed up and then swallowed. Strongyloides can survive undetected in humans for decades, producing generation after generation. But at certain moments, such as when the host is taking steroids, they can become deadly. After the letters went out, a scientific paper was published about Reyes Ibarra's neighborhood as part of the same research project, but the parasite infections in her area have stayed under the radar, in part because the researchers preserve the town's anonym, anonymity, 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 identifying it as community A, quote unquote. Now Reyes Ibarra and her sister Monica, are sharing the story, as are other of their neighbors. They say nobody with the ability to help is paying attention to their plight, and there's been no systematic attempt to eliminate the strong geloides. The researchers argue that the cluster is linked to one crucial but often overlooked aspect of intense U.S. poverty. Despite their best efforts, residents are subject to terrible sanitary system failures, so the curses. "Quote unquote, it feels like we're screaming into a void and no one is listening," Monica Reyes Ibarra, what she said. "Quote unquote, I feel like everybody has passed the buck on this neighborhood because it's low income. It's primarily so called Hispanic immigrants," quote unquote, said Monica. If the parasites had been found, quote unquote, in any other neighborhood, even just across the county line, where there are people of other races, there would be the uproar. "Quote unquote, how dare you keep us living in these conditions? How are children potentially exposed to harmful parasites that are only found in other developing countries, like in what's called the third world, man?" Basically, what's called the third world and shit. But it's found here in Texas too. And that's the reason why she said the reason why they're overlooking it is because it's so-called Latinos and so-called Latino immigrants. But really, it's because y'all are Israelites of the Northern Kingdom. And of course, Esau is not going to show you any type of love because he ain't got no type of love for you. Esau, he doesn't care about the struggles of you so-called Latinos. Just like he don't care about the struggles of you so-called black, so-called black people and natives the same way. You so-called. Hold on. Give me some use. You so-called Latinos, man. Y'all are looked at as niggas by Esau Edom as well. Y'all are just Spanish speaking, lighter skinned niggas still. AKA Spigans. And that shows that right there, man. And I'm pointing this out because a lot of these so-called Latinos here in Texas, man, a lot of these so-called Latinos be looking down on your darker skinned brother. A lot of y'all be hating. When you acting like because you're lighter skinned, some of y'all, they're lighter skinned. Some of y'all are as dark as Jake. But because of a lot of y'all are lighter skinned than Jake, you want to fucking magnify yourself against Jake and shit. But Esau don't see you as different than Jake because Esau knows that you're Israelites and not his people. And I was gonna make this about pestilences that be hitting, but it looks like the spirit, want me go into y'all so-called Latinos continuing to magnify yourself against your brothers, man. Yeah, y'all getting hit with the curses, man. Y'all getting hit with pestilences. That's in the scriptures, man. And Esau not giving a fuck. That's in the scriptures, man. That Esau wouldn't give a fuck, man. Deuteronomy 28. Let me get it. The pestilence, right? Deuteronomy 28. Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he had consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. Verse 22, Yahweh shall smite thee with the consumption, and with the fever, and with the inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Verse 23, man. And there's another scripture where it goes into pestilences that are not even written in this book, man, that y'all are gonna get. Like AIDS hitting Jake, man. That wasn't written in this book. That's like a new pestilence. And Yahweh will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed even great plagues, and of long continuance and sore sickness, and of long continuance. Verse 60, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, where thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Verse 61, and every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, then them will Yahweh bring upon thee till thou be destroyed. These are punishments, these are judgments for going off, because just like your so-called black brothers, the southern kingdom, primarily of the tribe of Judah here in Babylon, which you also have Benjamites and Levites, which are primarily West Indians. They're primarily the tribe of Benjamin, and Haitians are primarily Levites. Here you have them here as well. But just like you also have a lot of Gad and a lot of Reuben, which are Northern Kingdom among so-called black people. But just like your so-called black brothers broke the deal with Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and caught them curses and continue to this day. Y'all as well. You so-called Latinos and Native Americans. Matter of fact, you so-called Latinos and Native Americans, y'all was actually the first to be removed from the land by the Assyrians. Y'all was actually the first, man. Because y'all was going way the fuck off, man. And y'all was also put on slave ships, like so-called black people, and taken to Europe, taken to other parts of the Americas from your respective areas, taken to Asia and shit. It's obvious that you so-called Latinos are one of the tribes as well. Y'all are the Northern Kingdom. Hosea 7 and 8 explains why you look the way you do. Some of y'all are light skinned as fuck, looking like Esau and shit, and you think you're Esau. And some of y'all are dark as fuck, like Jake. Some of y'all look just like Jake, even with the same type of hair. And that's because, first off, your ancestors, those 10, you had 12 sons of Jacob. And your ancestors, there was no difference. They were not described as looking different from each other. So they all had that so-called Negroid look. But the reason why y'all look the way y'all do is because Hosea 7 and 8, Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Ephraim is because you got with these other nations, which our people love to do. It's because you took women of the other nations. Just back then you was doing it. You had the people that was around Ephraim, which is also used to refer to the Northern Kingdom, not just the tribe of Ephraim, which is the so-called Puerto Ricans, but used to refer to the Northern Kingdom as a whole. You have around the Northern Kingdom, you had Moab and Ammon, which are the East Asians today, which explains some of y'all's Asiatic look. And you had the Syrians up north, and you had, which back then it was dark, but nowadays because of the Turks, the Ottoman Turks who were Edomites, they look lighter skinned because there was intermixing. Yeah, and then you was taken in captivity among the Assyrians in Iraq. So you already kind of had the Asiatic type look, kind of sort of. You could fucking tell. Also, kind of looked a little like kind of like Assyrians, except they was dark back then, but now they light because of the Ottoman Turks who were Edomites. And then when the conquistadors came, so for a while he was like that. And then when the conquistadors came, you was you intermingled among them and continue to intermingle among take Edomite women, which that's not going off. The fact what's going off is letting them is cleaving to them in love, and changing your ways, trimming your ways to seek love, like Solomon did. But that explains, that explains why you look the way you do, and you do that to this day. It's called Mejorando la Raza. That's what y'all call it. But it's explained right there why y'all look different. A lot of y'all look different, lighter skinned than so-called black folks. But Esau sees you the same as so-called black folks because you are the same as so-called black folks. That's why Esau, he doesn't give a fuck about what y'all go through. Y'all are among the Gentiles as a vessel that, hold on, and they shall be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein there ain't no honor, basically. Wherein there is no honor. KJV. Hosea was a prophet to the northern kingdom. Hosea 8:8. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. That's why they don't give a fuck about what you go through. Just like they don't give a fuck about what niggas go through. Yeah. On Oasis that wasn't. Hold on. Yeah, let me get into where I was at. That would be unheard of, and it's normal here. No one cares basically. Their community is named Rancho Vista, located less than an hour from the Texas capital in Austin. It comprises about 400 homes on a small number of streets, and many of its inhabitants are so-called Mexican Americans or immigrants from Mexico. So Ishkar, Often they work in lower paying jobs like construction or groundskeeping, juggling multiple jobs and have built their lives from the ground up in Rancho Vista, sometimes literally. Yet residents say that, and it shows you a home right here. It's like a trailer home, and it's a dilapidated home in the Rancho Vista subdivision near San Marcos, Texas. They show you right there, man. So it's broken down. Yet residents say that despite the taxes they pay, they struggle with packs of stray dogs, which may themselves play a role in the parasite life cycle and wind-blown swirls of trash. Sometimes the smell of sewage wafts in the breeze. "Quote unquote, it feels like we're screaming into a void and no one is listening," Monica said. An oasis that wasn't. The sisters that were born in Agua. Hey, that's a spirit that I ran into this article. Kala Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Kadash. It goes into northern tribes. The sister, the sisters were born in Aguas Calientes, Mexico, but moved with their parents to Rancho Vista when they were little. They went to school in the nearby town and were bullied for living somewhere so downtrodden. Yeah, walking to the school bus on dark roads, lacking street lights. She and her friends made sure to carry sticks or rocks in case a stray dog became aggressive, Veronica recalled. Today, Veronica said that's the curses. And being looked down on because of that also. That's the curses. First this, verse 13, and Yahweh. Okay, wait. It's actually the wrong one. Oh, this right here, verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and shall not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee. And even verse 48, therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger, and thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, till he had destroyed thee. And hold on. And the reason why y'all coming over here, verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not show. Verse 49, Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, at the end of the earth, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. You know, hinting at what nation that would be, whose symbol is the eagle. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Self-explanatory, right? First the Spaniards came, Spanish-speaking Edomites came, did their thing. And then you had got the Babylonian English-speaking Edomites, you know, and the new colonialism, neoliberalism. You know, Esau fuck your country up and then blame you for it. Verse 50. And when you come over here, you know, that's how he blames you for it. And then when you come over here, you know, he's like looking at you like you trying to like what the fuck you doing? You're trying to leech off our country, trying to take our jobs. Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Verse 51, and they haven't. They still putting kids in cages since the days of the Clintons. Then since the days of Clinton. Verse 51, and ye shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, nor oil, or the increase of thy kind, and or flocks of thy sheep, until he hath destroyed thee. And that's why you come over here. Because you basically don't have shit in these countries. You come over here to escape the curses. Because Esau will go over there, you know, he'll fucking destroy, he'll fucking overthrow overthrow the government that rules over there. That's a government that's more for the people and shit, and has set up a fucking puppet government and fuck up your country. And you know, also to make money, you know, take all your resources from your country, and then you come over here, hey, you know, come over here thinking you're gonna escape from the curses, but you can't escape them. Not the way y'all trying to do it. Verse 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, is what it says, so thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh, thy power to keep his commandments and statutes which he commanded thee. Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. And really, that means a very long time. Because the kingdom of Yasharallah is coming next. So, and you know, it don't matter where you go on this side. It don't matter. You go to Babylon, where all the resources of your country was taken. You know, you put in the ghetto. And you go to Europe. You go to Europe. Same fucking shit. Look down on you over there. You go to fucking in Spain. There's a lot of so-called Latinos that go there and they get looked down on. It costs Sudega and shit. That's like the N-word form over there. You know, you go shit. But if you go anywhere, man. Go anywhere. You get looked down on. Let me continue reading this article. Today, Veronica, 25, is studying for a master's in public administration. Monica, 28, recently passed the bar exam, but the conditions in Rancho Vista are the same ones the sisters have seen their whole lives. Veronica added, this is literally the reality we live. Is crazy, quote unquote. Yeah. Monica Reyes Ibarra points out an area of her father's yard that is prone to flooding during hard rains. You know, and this is also cut to you so-called black-only Israelites, you BOIs, that talk about the Latinos and natives ain't the tribes, man. You know, here they all going through the curses, man. Rancho Vista emerged in the mid 1980s. When they go through the curses, they got salt, got flavor, they got zeal. They just look a little different through intermixing. That's not hard to understand. It's just that y'all, it's not hard to understand for those that can understand. But it's that y'all can't, y'all are blinded by the evil eye towards your brother, which is also a part of the curses. So that the man, verse 54, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, and this is a starts in the mind, his eye shall be evil towards his brother. It really started after Solomon. It really started after Solomon when the two kingdoms split. So that the man that is tender, so that the kingdom of Israel split, became two kingdoms, Judah and Israel, southern and northern. Right. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. So that evil eye is real. Let me continue. Rancho Vista emerged in the mid 1980s when a developer parceled the land. A few residents described buying a half-acre for just over 10,000, and they lived in mobile or modular homes or built structures with their own hands. It was a quote-unquote little oasis for immigrant families, said Monica. Early on, coyotes could be heard howling at night, and it still has a verdant, peaceful feel. So it's like a country ghetto, man, a country barrio, man. That's what it is. And you have them over there in in so-called Latin America too, man. You have barrios out there. Been out there in Venezuela, man. Been out there in Venezuela. My mom's family from there. I've been out there. And you have barrios in the city, and you got barrios in the country. Cursed in the field. Even that. Cursed shall I be in the sea and in the field. Let me get that. Basically says it. Hold on. Verse 16, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. So in the field as well, whether you try to make it in the city, in the urban, or you try to make it, you try to make it in the city, you're gonna be stuck in the ghetto, bro. You're gonna be stuck in a ghetto on a barrio. And you try to make it in the country, in the boonies, man, you're gonna be stuck in some trailer park type setup, man. Which is like the ghetto, just for the country. Yeah. Yeah, for some, so it don't matter, man. It don't matter. You ain't finna escape these curses, man. Most High Howell told us. And look, he ain't lied. Yeah, for some, it is a rural poverty trap, aka a ghetto. On one hand, because it's located outside any particular city, it is in official terms unincorporated, quote unquote. There are fewer regulations, and residents are freer to do renovations without inspections. For instance, on the other hand, they also lack services that most Americans take for granted. And that's true as fuck for these ghettos and barrio in this case, which is just the Spanish ghetto. A barrio means a neighborhood, and some neighborhood like that is a ghetto, man. It's a ghetto neighborhood. So it's a hood for Northern Kingdom. That's what it is. There's no official, and a lot of them be like that, man. A lot of them be like that. They be neglected and shit. There's no official garbage collection, nor are there sidewalks, and there are no sewer lines. Instead, the homes have aging individual sewer systems in which effluent, I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm gonna look it up. Effluence. Effluent is an outflowing of water or gas. Okay, that's what it is. Sounds like affluent and shit. They be using them type words, man. Effluent is an outflowing of water or gas to a natural body of water from a structure such as a sewage treatment plant, sewer pipe, industrial wastewater treatment plant, or industrial outfall. Effluent engineering is a stream exiting a chemical reactor. Oh shit. Okay. In which effluent from toilets, sinks, showers, and appliances is pumped into an underground tank next to the home. After some biodegradation in the tank, liquid is allowed to percolate into the ground as a kind of rudimentary sewage treatment. They have that type of system. They have these little septic systems that's set up. I know what those are. Outside the crib and shit. And then after some biodegradation in the tank, it's allowed to percolate into the ground, seep into the ground as a kind of rudimentary sewage treatment. Yeah, I know what those are. Yeah, and how this is how them parasites spread, man. How parasites potentially spread through falling septic systems. One, in a properly functioning system, human waste flows into the septic tank and is degraded. Verse 2, some liquid waste then drains into surrounding soil. Verse 3, but if the system is failing, wastewater can escape. Yep. If it contains strong geloides, humans could be infected. That's what happens. Because, yo, man, that's how them curses hit you jakes and you northern tribes and you speckled birds that be out there in the field, in the country. That's one way they hit you. That's cursing in rebuke. That's what that is. Because let me get that scripture. Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, and so thou be destroyed, and then so thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me. You know, that's an example of that. You know, that broken down house. You know, some of these Ishkarites, they built their shit themselves. You know, and they're still failing. That's cursing, vexation, and rebuke. That's what that is. You know, so that like when you try to do something, you try to get out that motherfucker, you try to improve your situation while you in that motherfucker, you know, it fails. Because you wasn't meant to, because there's like the curse it's a curse, man. That's what a curse is. That's what a curse is, man. A curse. That's just what a curse is, man. You know, it's like what the apostle brought out, man, way back. You know, there was a good example of what a curse is. You know, he had this show called it's Apostle Tahar, I believe, or Aram Love, one of them. I think it was Apostle Tahar though. And he brought out that there was he mentioned the example of a show called Bewitched, where this Edomite this Edomite, there was Edomites living that typical privileged Edomite life, and this Edomite was, there was witches, there was witches that would do shit, right? Bewitched, witches and bewitched. Well, you had a witch that was cursed, and she didn't want to get up out the bed because everything she would do would fail. And that's an example of that. Everything you set your hand to do is gonna fucking fail. More than 20% of Americans have these septic systems as they are known, because you ain't meant to prosper here. It's a punishment. It's a place of captivity. It's essentially a huge prisoner of war camp. That's what Babylon America is. And you're also prisoners of war in these other countries, among these other nations. We're all prisoners of war, man. They're hidden prison houses. These are all prison houses for us, not just the actual prisons where so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds make up the majority of the population. But these are like open air prisons of war. They are all hidden prison houses. So any way that you try to get out is going to be obstructed. They're hidden prison houses. Isaiah 42:2. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hidden prison houses. They are for prey and undelivered, for a spoil and unsafe to restore. Yeah, we're full of spoil, man. We're all hidden in prison houses. Thy hidden ones. They plot against thy hidden ones. Psalms 83. We're called the hidden ones for a reason. Psalms 83, verse 3. Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have consulted against, and this talking about Yasharallah, man. We are the hidden ones. We are his hidden ones, hidden in these prison houses. Everything being hid from us. And neither Esau nor these other nations don't give a fuck about us. They don't give a damn. They actually come into the hood. They actually come into the hoods, the barrios, ghettos, reservations, and they actually exploit us because of our curses. They actually be making money off of us because we're doing shit to like try to ease like we're doing shit to help with the curses, kind of to help with the curses, and even if it's just taking our mind off of them. And that's where they exploit us, man. But let me get into this article. More than 20% of Americans have these septic systems, as they are known, including the very richest, such as those who live in the Hamptons area of of Long Island, Esau mainly, and heathens. In lower income areas, they can present a challenge. They can occasionally need to be pumped out and otherwise maintained, shifting the burden for an essential service onto a financially stretched resident. That's, hey, why is he financially stretched? Because he getting hit with the curses. The soul, so that stretches it even more. The soul in Rancho Vista is mostly not considered compatible with septic systems in the first place because it's not permeable enough and can cause the systems to clog. Ask people in Rancho Vista about their problems, and many will tell you about the sewage. "Quote unquote, I am embarrassed when people come because it smells and stinks," said one resident who asked only to be identified by her last name Perez. She tries to avoid using too much water to prevent sewage overflows. Yep. Another inhabitant causes parasites and these different. That's what this article is going into. Causes pest problems. Another inhabitant, Aid Barrera, because of stink, causes that shit. Another inhabitant, Aid Barrera, 59, said her toilet sometimes don't flush, and to relieve herself, she has to go to a friend's house or a restaurant to prevent overburdening the temperamental septic system. It works sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. It's iffy, marked by excessive sensitivity or impulsive. Obviously, it's in this context, it means it's iffy. Septic system. The water from her shower, kitchen sink, and washing machine are simply piped down straight out to her back lawn. Yep. Just to do that, it's like, yeah, so you could imagine the parasites and the pests that are attracted by that shit. Not having a functional toilet was particularly difficult when Barrera was raising her kids. "Quote unquote, thank God," she says, "they understood they had to study to leave this place." And Jake will do that as well. Jake will do that as well. Anything to try to escape these curses. Anything but repent. Anything but get right. She could get the system fixed, but has been told it will cost $17,000. Nowadays you have that info. You have that info to get right, and 2/3 still won't get right. Okay, let me continue. She said, continue saying $17,000 is what I make in a year. Huh? So that's like her whole. That's what she makes in a year. So see, she just can't afford it. "Quote unquote, who do we talk to? The science who some, so she's like stuck in that position, a curse. "Quote unquote, who do we talk to? The scientist whom some residents came to know as the quote unquote parasite lady and who led the strong geloidy study arrived in 2017. Rachel Singer was a doctoral student at the University of Texas who had previously performed parasitic surveys in Nicaragua. She learned of Rancho Vista and its sewage problems through colleagues and decided to investigate. Along with the team, she canvassed door to door, winning residents' trust and obtaining dozens of blood and stool samples. "Quote unquote, no one in America has a history of parasitic infections," quote unquote, Singer said. "It seems quite plausible that parasites will be found in a region with failing sanitation quote unquote. And this is what these Edomites will do. They will cause the problem, set up the infrastructure, and then they'll come in and pretend to give a fuck. That's what they'll do. No, that's what Esau will do, and that's why the scriptures tell you not to trust thy adversary, because they don't really do much about it, if anything, or they do something to fuck it up even more. Ecclesiastes 12. Verse 10, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You know, who's the damn devil that put you in that situation? Who's the devil that took this land? You know, because this land wasn't even Esau's, man. It was Gad and Issachar's. And then, so who took the land? And then who continued to take after that, you know? Went into your country and took it over and took them resources. Who did that shit? It's a specific nation of people that did that shit. You know, and that's what an adversary does. An enemy, adversary, shaitan, an enemy. Shaitan means adversary in Hebrew. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, this is what they're doing here. Let yet take good heed and be aware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he take the seat, seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. And our people have made that mistake and been pricked therewith, regretted it. You know, one meaning of that, over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's like a vicious cycle. You know, and you have a lot of our people doing that and being pricked therewith, both literally and symbolically. You know, and they trying to prick you and put a stick in you. Well, put a chip in you. That's what they trying to do. That's what this whole, you know, this whole agenda to push the devil's punch is, man. Verse 13, who will pity? That's what this new Tuskegee experiment is about. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that has been with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? Like, who's gonna pity someone that plays with the serpent? Or someone that's fucking with the wild animal? Nobody, man, because you should have known. And you tries, man. You know by this man's MO, man. By what he does, man. It's history. And then the prophets are out there bringing out the fact that this man is the devil, man. Has been doing this since forever, man. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know, and you're the Israelites. Verse 13. Yeah. So who will pity? Who will pity y'all? You keep on trusting them. Verse 14. So one that goes to a sinner and is defiled with them in his sins, who will pity? Who's going to feel bad for you? Verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. He speaks sweet with his lips, man. That's what he does. Verse 17, if adversity, and you see that's how, especially that's what these devils do, period, but especially is what these so-called liberal Edomites, that's what they be doing. Acting like they give a fuck. Verse 17, if adversity come upon thee, yeah, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit, a trap. He will weep with his eyes, but if you find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Ain't you tribes in the trap, man? Stuck in the trap? Stuck in the pit? in the ghetto, the gutter. Verse 17, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. That's this as well, man. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. No, you're going to find that enemy there first, pretending to be your friend. You know, you came to your own enemy who is causing your problems. Verse 18, he will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. And also this right here, when he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. And at the last he will declare his wickedness when he doeth in righteousness. And when he doeth good, let me get it. Ecclesiasticus 14:7. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. And at the last he will declare his wickedness. Yep. Esau was that unrighteous judge, man. The one who envieth himself even. Verse 5, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Verse 6, there is none worse than he that envieth himself. This is a recompense of his wickedness. Yeah, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. At the last, he's going to let you know. You know, when you think that he's your friend. Verse 8, the envious man hath the wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth men. Verse 9, a covetous man's eyes is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. You know, which is why this devil will not be satisfied, man. He can't be satisfied. He just continues to steal from everybody, even his own. Verse 11, my son, according to, a wicked eye. Verse 10, envy this bread, and he is a nigard at the table, which the word nigard, let me get it. Nigard is a miser, meanly covetous and stingy person. And that's Esau. That's why he keeps stealing. And let me get this right here. Guardian article. Hold on. Get back on this article. Because I kept running on. All right, hold on. Intestinal parasites were once presumed to be established across the U.S. South. In the early 20th century, rates of hookworm, which is transmitted through the soil like strongyloides, were higher. Hold on. Mm. Mm. So good. All right, get back to it. Intestinal parasites were was presumed to be established across the U.S. South. In the early 20th century, rates of hookworm, which is transmitted through the soil like strongyloides, were higher than 75% in Alabama and almost two-thirds in Georgia. You know, some about the U.S. South is it's a lot of Jakes down here, man. Like it's a lot of original looking Jakes, Judah, so-called black primarily so-called black people. Well, those would be the original looking Jakes, right? And there's also a lot of speckled birds here, which is why it's known as the Bible Belt, man. It's that zeal with not according to knowledge. That's real heavy down here. So you'd also have those type Jakes, go through it in the South because curses is gonna touch you no matter how you look. If you're Israelite, you're Israelite. Intestinal okay, widespread, like it says right here, they have the zeal but not according to knowledge. It's in Romans chapter 10. Romans chapter 10, KJV. Verse 1, brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to power Yahweh for Israel is that they might be saved. Verse 2, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of power Yahweh, but not according to knowledge. Verse 3, for they being ignorant of power Yahweh's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of power Yahweh. Even that, to a certain extent is true, man. These so-called Christians down here, they can't give up that plantation Christianity. They have that zeal for the Most High Yahweh, but it's not according to knowledge. Which is why they study in them church houses and shit. But that's not where the Most High Yahweh lives, man. He don't draw in houses made with human hands. But again, that's that zeal, not according to knowledge. A lot of you northern tribes, y'all have that zeal, but not according to knowledge as well, man. Being them cathedrals and shit, being them you also had the Mexican Baptist churches. Ishkar be up in there. Pentecostal, man. Not a lot of Northern Kingdom be up in there as well. Even you got Northern Kingdom that's Mormons that really believe in that. Widespread surveillance, but that's the curses as well. That's the curses as well. Following these idols of these other nations, because what do they teach you to believe in? The image of Cesare Borgia and the false name. Deuteronomy 28 and Verse 36, Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. Because they're not calling themselves Edomites, they're calling themselves white people. And there was no nation known as that. And there shalt thou serve other powers, other gods, wood and stone. Yep. Even this, verse 64, and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Even wood and stone. The wood speaking of the cross, symbolizing the cross, which they use as symbols, is a symbol of death. It's what was used to crucify Yahushua. And then they give you that false image and that false name. And then you have false doctrines where you could go off, eat all kinds of wickedness. You could eat a gnat. According to them. But not according to the law, statutes, and commandments, which are still in effect. You have that, and you have Islam, two major religions among our people. But hold on. Widespread surveillance and eradication programs and the spread of proper sanitation systems were thought to wipe them out. Surveillance largely ceased, even though recent papers showed that nearly 500,000 U.S. households lack indoor plumbing. So they say that, them parasites, that problem was wiped out, but hey, guess what? Yeah, in recent years, more than 1/3 of residents in Alabama community with sanitation breakdowns tested positive for hookworm. In an ongoing study, Rogelio Mejia, the prominent parasitologist who co-authored the Rancho Vista paper, has discovered high rates of toxocara, which is spread in dog and cat feces. Let me look up what that shit is. Toxocariasis. See what the fuck that is. All right, toxocariasis is human infection with nematode ascarid larvae that ordinarily infect animals. Symptoms are fevers, anorexia, I don't know what the fuck that shit is. Probably a way to fucking say it. You don't need to say all that shit. No, Esau. Hepatosplenomegaly, rash, pneumonitis, asthma, so pneumonitis, asthma, or visual impairment. Shit. Fever. Oh, it's caused by a roundworm. That's what it's called. It's caused by. They say it's a fever, coughing, inflammation of the liver, or eye problems. Could cause that. But it could cause anorexia. Hepatosplenomegaly, rash, pneumonitis, asthma, or visual impairment. Diagnosis is by enzyme. I don't try to get what this shit is. Hepatos, like, man, shit. Hepatosplenomegaly is a condition that causes swelling and enlargement of the liver and spleen. Medical conditions related to the liver often begin with a prefix. So, swelling of the liver and spleen often begin with hepat, such as hepatitis and spleen, referring to the spleen. Okay, that's what they mean. A termogaly indicates that something is normally large. You see how they could just be like swollen enlargement of the liver and spleen? But it's also because Esau ruled the Roman Empire, and that's Latin. Salakia. Pneumonitis, I believe, is the same as pneumonia, which is it's in the lungs, lung inflammation. And so, okay, has discovered high rates of toxocara. Just went over what that is, which is spread in dog and cat feces and soil and wastewater samples from poor communities across 5 southern states. Strongyloides is considered one of the more neglected of the soil-transmitted parasites. Doctors with no training in tropical medicine might fail to recognize it and are not mandated to report its discovery to state authorities. Yet more than 500 million people around the world are estimated to be infected. In the US, it has been detected in places as varied as Appalachia and Los Angeles County. In Oregon transplant candidates, patients with mental disabilities, and Vietnam vets decades after they served. Hmm. Although can be symptomless, strongyloides is the deadliest of soil-transmitted parasites. If an infected person takes immune suppressing drugs such as steroids or chemotherapeutics, or has a lowered immune system because of a disease like leukemia, which, our people have high rates of all that, man. The worm can rapidly multiply throughout the body and cause death. In Rancho Vista, that's the curses as well, man. In Rancho Vista, the 16 positive blood tests from a group of 97 residents is the highest percentage of positive blood samples found in a non-refugee population in the U.S., according to Singer. Though the sample is relatively strong. A positive blood test can also occur in someone who was previously infected but no longer is. Yeah. Shit. Hold up. All right. Anyways. Let me continue. Where I was at. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Oh yeah, I was gonna pull up little leukemia rates by race. They say it's more. Hold on. Which those so-called titles don't mean. Those so-called races don't mean shit, because those are made up. They're social constructs.